Welcome back to the News Review segment of the Power Breakfast Show. In my panel this morning, Mr. Kipruto Arap Kirwa, ANC Deputy Party Leader, long-time politician, Charles Kipkulei, political analyst and researcher, Dan Manzo, Member of Parliament for Makueni, and Richard Momoima Onyonka, Member of Parliament for Kitutu Chache. We earlier on were looking at the Deputy President William Ruto, the politics in Jubilee, and the status of things in regard to Alfred Keter, Member of Parliament for Nandi Hills, who has spent his weekend in the police cells. And now we move on to NASA, where there seems to be no end to NASA party wrangles over positions. That is page 7 of the Standard. Mutula Kilonzo Jr. confirms that the opposition had attempted to have him step down from his Senate position. Now the story is a simmering row between NASA affiliate parties over leadership positions in the Parliamentary Service Commission deepened when a decision to replace some MPs was rejected. The decision to swap Senate Minority Whip Mutula Kilonzo Jr. of Wiper and Vihiga Senator George Haniri of ANC to end the stalemate over Parliamentary Service Commission post has divided NASA even further. I start with the NASA people. Charles, apparently you're the only one who is not officially known to be in NASA. And I'll start with you, Dan Manzo. It's about Wiper's position.
Yes.
What's the situation as we speak? Ben Momanyi, your nominee to Wiper's nominee to PSC, says his name is with the Speaker.
Well, you know, the last time we were in Parliament, and when we raised this matter, it turned out clearly that Wiper had a slot as a parliamentary party to Parliamentary Service Commission, and we have now left this matter to the four principals to give direction, because the Speaker also directed that he was expecting a communication from that particular level, that the communication the Speaker expects will be from party level, which can only be at the level of the principals, the four of them. And I believe whatever they agree on is what will be the direction from NASA to Parliament, and I believe that communication will be done by tomorrow.
So that we have this clear,
so that we have this clear. Yes.
NASA has a slot in the PSC based on their numeric strength, or based on what? Agreement?
Yes. You know, just like the way we did the Yella calculations, it's a similar way you do for. You see, the representation to Parliamentary Service Commission is by political parties and by political party strength, such that the slots accrue from Jubilee and also from NASA. Now in NASA you are a coalition, and therefore you go by the political party strength in Parliament, or Wiper is one of the parliamentary parties. So the Speaker ruled, and you see, once you rule, you can't go back on your ruling. So
clear, Wiper is a parliamentary party.
It is a parliamentary
just
party.
Like ANC, just like ODM.
Yes.
But they're in the NASA coalition, a coalition that deposited its formation instrument with the Registrar of Political Parties. And this document explains how they share positions and everything.
Yes.
So what's the position?
But at the same time, I agree with Mheshimiwa Manzo. At the same time, we should have political common sense. Especially when you have a coalition government. The issues which are outstanding are this. ODM, as the elder brother, right now is asking to have 2 commissioners within the Parliamentary Service Commission. ANC actually has not even been included in the juxtaposition, in the distribution of those positions. Wiper has just come up and said, allow us to have one of our own, instead of ODM having 2 commissioners. Allow us, just in good faith, allow us to have one position which we can bring in as Ben Momanyi. And I commend Party Leader Kalonzo Musyoka for having considered that. And remember, Kalonzo himself is under a lot of pressure from members from Wiper Party who are saying, what is it, or why are you actually accommodating Ben Momanyi? And
but he's a member of Wiper.
That is true, but at the same time, some of his members may not feel that he is bringing in any
Come on, Richard, say it as it is. Ben Momanyi is from Kisii,
not
Wiper
really.
is perceived.
Not really.
That's the fact.
Not really. In fact, I wanted to become a commissioner with Fort Kenya, even to be a chairman of a committee. But my party leader called me and said, Richard, I've already become a deputy I become the minority whip, a minority leader in the Senate. We've already brought in Chris Wamalwa, who is also coming as a whip. For Ford Kenya to ask for a third position would actually be unfair to ANC and would be unfair to Wiper. So what we are saying is, I hope that the principles will sit and common sense prevails, so that Wiper can get this one slot, so that they can then maintain one position, all right, as ODM. And I know you have got Madam Jumwa and you have also Madam Gladys Wanga, who are both ladies, and these are very sensitive issue. But I would really pray that some of these members, just like some of us have withdrawn, and we are no longer complaining about the positions either in the House or at the committee level, so that we can then work together as a team within NASA. But once you start bringing in this selfish interest of saying, oh, you know, I personally am more senior and deserve to have this position, and in fact Wiper is no longer, like you've been seen commenting, self-annihilation. We must understand that within the opposition we are vulnerable. Within the opposition we keep doubting each other. Within the opposition we must do whatever that is necessary to stick together. And I wanted to mention to my brothers in ODM, we have run elections in the last 15 years. Even when those elections had legal issues, even with these elections have credibility issues, the numbers only stick together once you have Honorable Musalia, Honorable Wetangula, Honorable Raila, and Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka sticking together. The moment they disintegrate, then they can forget about moving forward.
Mheshimiwa Kipruto Arap Kirwa, you are in the second tier of the summit of NASA by virtue of being a deputy party leader. Is NASA's unity under threat because of self-interest?
Well, I think, as we said earlier, every political process evolves, and we are evolving. Remember, we formed NASA, and within 3 months we're in the midst of electioneering period, and we've had that electioneering. We have not spent time rethinking our strategy on how to move forward together. And it's also a case of a small cake that is thinly spread among many members, and this is what the challenge is, because the positions that we have, we don't have any positions in government. It's only in Parliament and in the Senate. And therefore, these are some of the teething problems that we want to handle. But in terms of NASA sticking together, I can say this without fear of contradiction, that there is going to be a political configuration that may not be markedly different from NASA and Jubilee, but some of the areas will have to go either way, depending on the presidential candidate that we are going to have as NASA, and the presidential candidate of Jubilee and the running mates of each side.
So clearly we may not be going into 2022 with NASA intact, Jubilee intact. That's what you're saying?
I think that there's going to be a different formation. Yes. There's going to be a different formation, and some of the areas might shift, but of course the bedrock of NASA is not going to change much, but it will depend on who is the flag bearer of NASA and who is the flag bearer of Jubilee.
So we need to tread carefully. There are no permanent enemies in politics.
That's why I never condemn anybody on the crossroad. You never know which road you're going to take.
Charles, you never know which road you're going to take.
Well, it's, I would like to agree with that Mheshimiwa Kirwa is saying that things are going to change. And the challenge that NASA faces right now is that post-2017, after the election was done with, the organizing question has lapsed. So therefore, when you ask NASA, why are you together? It was initially to come together, to unite as an opposition at that time, to take power. Therefore, since that never happened, when things change, then it becomes a scramble for the small that they can get in terms of parliamentary leadership positions, which is why we are seeing a lot of the tug of war that is ongoing. I've just thought right now, if in the event that NASA had won and taken government, how vicious will have been the fight for state positions, because you are seeing how it is at parliamentary level. And maybe Jubilee would be scrambling for party positions. It will have happened, but it's rather much of conjecture, because you can never tell. But ideally what we are seeing is that NASA is imploding within itself because of the challenge of the individual aspirations and ambitions of, first of all, the principles themselves, and also the parties as individually constituted as they are. Because now you're seeing Wiper saying, as a parliamentary party, we deserve this. Therefore, the fight no longer becomes an issue about that NASA wants this. It is ODM wants this, ANC wants this, and now they are pulling in different directions because the selfish interest is setting in. And this is mainly because come 2022, most of the leadership in NASA, the top leadership, the principal level, these are veteran politicians who have been in the political circle for a very long time. 2022 is for all status, it is the twilight period of most of their political careers. And if you are not on the ballot in 2022 as an individual, then you may never be on the ballot again. So therefore, what you are going to see going forward is not an end to this, but it will even grow much more vicious, because today you say, well, we take one position from PSC, from ODM. Well, you expect ODM to keep quiet. They'll say, no, we want to revisit the issue of maybe 30th January, where none of you showed up, and it's only Raila Odinga who took the oath. So it's going to be an ongoing, unending tug of war within the party. It's already the coalition itself. For Jubilee, I think it's no longer, Jubilee is not a coalition, it's a party. And the thing that is being misunderstood about Jubilee right now is that when they're trying to reorganize themselves and strengthen themselves as a party, they are seen as probably being too overbearing even on their leaders. But it is necessary. If you are to sustain a party as a united front, bringing together so many people, so many interests and diverse opinions, then you need a strong leader who sometimes has to say, this is where we are going, and you have to turn your back against the
ask you something that Mheshimiwa Kipruto Arap Kirwa alluded to earlier on. Does an elected leader owe their allegiance to the political party or the electorate?
Well, you see, the roles, that question goes back to what is the role of an elected leader. When he's an elected leader, to represent the voters, but also to
legislate, to represent, and to supervise.
And oversight.
It doesn't say to guard against the interests of a political party.
You see, but the architecture of our politics rotates around political parties. Even our constitution says Kenya is a multi-party democracy. Who is the face of political parties? It is our leaders in parliament, for example. Because we cannot go and say now, Mheshimiwa Senator, Mheshimiwa Nyonka, now you are here, not as a member of this party, but now individually you are there by virtue of that party. Therefore, you cannot discount the role and the place of the party. There is the party position. In fact, what we are seeing here is the failure of political parties to have strong inter-party structures, consensus-seeking mechanisms. When you meet at PG level, are you not able to converse and agree on all of these matters before it spills out to the public, even within, you saw the way people were being hounded out of committees.
Fair enough.
Because they went against a parliamentary group position.
Fair enough.
Therefore, we may not just dismiss this thing of parties, because they are really important. You cannot push agendas without political parties.
And gentlemen, I shudder to imagine what would happen when these parties get their slots. I imagine the next debate would be, from which region? I'm just imagining. Then it will go, okay, this region, but from which tribe? So it looks like we have a plate full. I'm told by the director that we need to wind up.